So let's talk about Malcolm Gladwell and home working. Now, Malcolm Gladwell has written some great books and he has some really intellectual insights. Check his ideas on the 10,000 hours for reference. He also has a great collection of work. Now, in a recent podcast, Malcolm Gladwell made some negative observations about working from home. As someone that does some form of home working, this is an interesting topic. So let's analyse this train of thought and begin this journey. So here is the statement from Malcolm Gladwell. Quote, "It's not in your best interest to work from home." End of quote. Here's my first observation. Because there are different types of work environments, it's hard to qualify this sentiment in every home work situation. Anyway, this argument from Malcolm Gladwell, it looks like is based on his personal experience. Give me a moment, let me explain. So Malcolm has a business. He is a business in the sense that he sells books, he has a podcast, he has speaking engagements, etc. And therefore, he would hire people at certain times. Now, I'm not sure if the context is freelance or full-time work, but the important point is that Malcolm Gladwell has personal experience in this area. And according to him, people that were less socially involved in his business were more likely to leave. So the argument here is that remote working can leave one disconnected. So I think the premise here is that the work you do is important, and the main point is that you're socially connected to others through the work environment. Which leads to Malcolm's next statement, which is, quote, "Don't you want to feel part of something?" End of quote. So let's briefly address this whole thing about being socially connected. So if John works in an office, he is making social connections with James, Sally, etc. He may be talking to James about his passion for boxing. He may connect with Sarah on their favourite series on Netflix, or maybe there is a deeper spiritual connection. So they're sharing stories, they're sharing information, and they're building rapport. To put it simply, they are connected. Now, I believe Robert Greene, the author of 48 Laws of Power, talks about humans as social animals. Indeed, is our evolution not predicated on our ability to socialize effectively? So the whole argument of building a social network or feeling connected in the workplace seems legitimate. But surely not everyone finds meaning in the workplace, and not everyone finds positive social connections in the workplace. So for example, if someone's getting bullied in the workplace, then home working may be a beneficial strategy. And perhaps if someone has like a 2-hour commute to work, it may be more productive for them to work from home. So let me put forward a counter-argument, and I'm going to premise this by saying that this counter-argument has some assumptions. So as most know, Picasso was a great Spanish painter. He was also considered one of the most prolific artist ever. And I assume that Picasso worked from home. He created masterpieces that were valued not just by him, but by the world. And maybe this premise is inaccurate. Maybe he went to a workspace/art studio in the community. Or maybe he had a home studio art space, so to speak. But let's not deflect from the point. And here is the point. Yes, we are not all Picasso, but the sentiment is important because the Picasso of, say, the coding world may benefit from their home surroundings. And that's why this is very subjective. And here's some other questions. Are all working environments positive landscapes? And if the answer is no, does that mean that the social argument falls apart? Another question, is all work purposeful and meaningful? I mean, clearly Malcolm Gladwell is brilliant in his work, but I think he may have a bias because it looks like he does meaningful work, but I suspect that a lot of us are not in this boat. So I think Malcolm Gladwell's ideas of being socially connected work in his work environment, but it may not work in many other working environments.